What's up, everybody? It's me, E-Man from E-Man's Movie Reviews. Have you seen Shazam? Did you have some questions about the post-credit scenes? Well, if you felt a little lost and wondered what exactly was going on or who certain characters were, worry not, because I'm here to help. I'll explain who that mysterious character was and what it may mean for a future Shazam sequel. Coming up next. Now, if you're watching this, then it's pretty much a given that this video will include some spoilers from the movie Shazam. So here's your spoiler alert warning. Now, if you didn't come here for spoilers, you can definitely go check out my spoiler-free review for Shazam, and after you do get around to seeing Shazam, feel free to come on back to this video. Alright, if you've watched Shazam, or if you just don't care about spoilers, then we need to talk about the two post-credit scenes after the movie. I think we can talk about the final post-credit scene first, because that is probably the easiest one to explain. You'll notice in the scene, Shazam is continuing the running bit of testing out his powers. He tries to talk to a fish, and after a moment he stops to talk about how ridiculous of a power it would be to be able to talk to fish. Now we also see that Freddy is wearing a t-shirt with Aquaman's symbol on his chest, and this is of course just an obvious jab at a running joke towards Aquaman. A similar humorous moment occurred in Justice League when Batman met Aquaman for the first time.
Arthur Curry, I hear you can talk to fish.
I'm pretty sure this will make for an interesting, funny moment if and when Aquaman and Shazam finally meet up in a future movie. Alright, so we get the joke. Now to the more intriguing stuff, and that is the mid-credit scene with Dr. Sivana. We open the scene with Dr. Sivana in jail after losing his fight with the Shazam family. He's scribbling all over his cell wall trying to remember the symbols that would open a portal door back to the Rock of Eternity as he did earlier in the movie. He clearly can't remember the right combination of symbols and yells in frustration. We then hear a strange voice laughing behind him, and we see some sort of caterpillar with a loudspeaker around its neck. Now, in case you missed it, we actually saw this creature earlier in the movie. In the early shots of the movie, when Sivana first visited the Rock of Eternity when he was a young boy, there was a bottle that encased the caterpillar. Then, Sivana returns as an adult to confront the wizard Shazam and become possessed by the 7 deadly sins. During their battle, it caused the bottle to shatter, which of course is when this worm-like creature makes its escape. When Billy Batson visits the Rock of Eternity for the first time, we get another quick shot of the broken bottle again. Anyway, in the jail cell, the worm-like creature laughs at Sivana and says something to the effect of talking monkeys and primitive symbols, and it goes on to say that Sivana's understanding about magic is basically limited and that there's more than one way to obtain magic. Dr. Sivana looks at the creature in disbelief, and the creature concludes by saying that both itself and Sivana will have fun conquering the 7 realms together to conclude the scene. Alright, now if you were like me, you were probably sitting there with a what the hell type of look on your face like, okay, what did I just see here? Well, don't feel bad, because unless you were one of those astute comic book fans, you probably didn't know that the creature we saw was actually Mr. Mind. So let me give you some background information about Mr. Mind and how I think he'll play a part in a Shazam sequel. Now, Mr. Mind is a very old school classic villain who first made an appearance in the Captain Marvel Adventures comic book number 26 back in 1943. He's technically not even a caterpillar, but instead he's a Venetian worm. In other words, he's an alien worm from the planet Venus. Venetian worms are similar to caterpillars here on Earth, except they have sentient intelligence. Mr. Mind does possess some unique powers and abilities. First and foremost, he's an evil genius who can easily manipulate people into doing his bidding. He has the power of telepathy, which allows him to read other people's minds, communicate with others with his mind, or simply control others with his mind, especially with the use of hypnosis. He's also been known to have powers of telekinesis where he can move objects with his mind. Last but not least, similar to the Earth caterpillar, he can undergo a metamorphosis. I'll get into that a little bit later. Now, one major reason why Mr. Mind is actually kind of important to the Shazam story is because he becomes one of Shazam's greatest foes. Kind of think about like how Norman Osborn is to Spider-Man. Mr. Mind is responsible for creating the Monster Society of Evil. Yeah, I know, as corny as that sounds, remember this did come from the 1940s after all. Anyway, this Monster Society was pretty interesting because they were the first group of villains that would team up to fight a team of heroes on a consistent basis. So this brings us to what may lie ahead for the next Shazam sequel. I think that Mr. Mind's introduction means that he'll definitely bring about the Monster Society of Evil. Since Mr. Mind is just an insect, he'll need a host body to move around on, and I'm assuming that will be the role of Dr. Sivana again, as if he wasn't already used by the 7 deadly sins. But hey, if you're a tool, you're a tool. Either way, it would make sense for Mr. Mind to round up the villain gang, seeing as though we now have the entire Shazam family present. With that many heroes around, you clearly will need a team of villains to take them on. I'm not sure which villains will be featured, but it does seem as though Mr. Mind is going to go find some of these villains in the 7 realms. Remember in Shazam when the kids were running around the Rock of Eternity and found all those doors to various dimensions? That may be exactly where the future villains will come from. Oh yeah, and remember the ability for Mr. Mind to undergo metamorphosis? Well, there are moments in the comics where Mr. Mind becomes super powerful and has a transformation into an even bigger, uglier, and deadlier insect creature. Now, I can't say this for sure, but the next Shazam sequel kinda gets the feeling as though it's gonna look like a Power Ranger movie or something. Now, it has been rumored that Black Adam won't be making an appearance in Shazam 2. Instead, it's suggested that Black Adam will fight against Shazam in Shazam 3. So if those rumors happen to be true, Shazam 2 will probably be about the Shazam family versus Mr. Mind, Dr. Sivana, and the Monster Society of Evil. Alright, I hope that explained the post-credit scenes for you. Let me know in the comments below, what did you think about the post-credit scene? How do you think it'll fit in for the next Shazam sequel? Thank you so much for joining me today. If you found this video helpful at all, please share it with a friend. If you're new to my channel and you want to see more content, please consider subscribing and turn on the notifications. I've got more videos and reviews to do for you all, and until next time, I'll see you all later.